All right, hello everybody. We are currently in New York City. I'm here with Amber. We are at our hotel. BookCon starts tomorrow, and we are very excited. I would show you the view from our hotel, but I mean, I'll show you. It's not that much of a view. Here, I'll show you this way. Just some nice buildings, but we're a few blocks away from the Javits Center, so hopefully it's not too bad. It was raining on the way here, so we got soaked. However, we're making plans right now. We're hoping to go see Death Becomes Her. We'll see if we end up doing it, but we gotta get food first. Food is the priority. So I'll see if I vlog anymore tonight. But anyway, negative day 1, I guess. Day 0.1. Day 0. All right. Hello everyone. We are currently back in the room. Amazing story. So I peer pressured Amber into going to see Death Becomes Her because I wanted to see it. Most of the original Broadway cast is still there. So this was an amazing opportunity. So we're like, yeah, we'll get like $50, like the mezzanine seats, like all the way in the back, nosebleeds. I don't really care. We'll still have fun. So we get there, we go right to the box office. I go right up. And the guy is like, oh, like 2 tickets? I said, yeah, just wherever, 2 tickets. He goes, he went $99 for orchestra. Excuse me? So we were in row F, seats 108 and 109, and literally smack dab in the center. Smack dab in the center. And I was just like, this is crazy. This is crazy seats. Like, I was sitting there the whole time before the show started. This is crazy. This is crazy that this happened, right? And Amber's like, oh my God, this is crazy that this happened. Anyway, we saw the show. Death Becomes Her is so good. I highly recommend going to see it. It's funny. The sets themselves are crazy. And like the quick changes they do with it is also just amazing. I love it. Outfits amazing. Michelle Williams amazing. And I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the show, Michelle Williams called someone out for recording, which amazing, wonderful. But yes, we're getting settled in for the night. BookCon is tomorrow. We are so excited. We are making our kind of final preparations for the morning. So that is where we are on night 0.5 is what we decided what this was. I don't know. Anyway, here is to a fun beginning. We are currently at BookCon. We are, 4 blocks from the entrance? Sure. We're moving. We're moving and grooving, so. All right, it is officially 10:35. It took us an hour to get in, probably.
Yeah,
not too bad. Line still crazy, but we're here. Okay, everybody, we are about an hour in. We got a little overstimulated when we were walking the expo floor in the indie alley. So we are currently in the Grove. That's what it looks like. Just a nice chill lounge. We got some cool music happening behind us. I hope you can hear me properly. We're doing the RF Kwong thing in like an hour. So that's kind of the plan now. Should we have pre-planned more? Yes. But, you know, go with the flow. It is currently, they probably can't hear me, but it's
9/11.
not secret 9/11. I'll tell you more about that later. Did I tell you about secret 9/11? I did tell you about. I'll tell you about secret 9/11 later. It's currently 9/11. We hope to do bingo,
Yeah.
but I can't really see.
We're probably not doing bingo.
That's fine. We tried. I heard the fantasy ball. Well, we both heard. All right, everyone. It is the end of day one of BookCon of Saturday. We have a lot to discuss. Amber's getting comfortable back there.
I'm tired.
Yeah, we're both tired. It's been a long day. Overall, I would say we've had a good experience. We're not necessarily upset. Well,
Except for bingo.
Except for bingo, which we'll get to. We're not necessarily upset about a lot of things. We're still genuinely having a good time. But there are some things that are a little crazy. First of all, the crowds, nuts. Specifically for the space that we're in. I've been to conventions before where, like, obviously you're going to deal with a lot of people, a lot of crowds, a lot of, like, kind of bottlenecking and stuff in and out of the aisles. But specifically, the problem that BookCon is having right now is on level 3, which is the exhibitor level. So that's where Simon & Schuster, Hatchet, Penguin Random House, Harper, and Sourcebooks is. And that's where they're having all of their ARC drops. And supposedly someone put in a video, or it was on social media or something, that the publishers were told originally to not form lines, that the people can just, I guess, gather and do it. And they didn't realize how many people were going to be gathering for these ARCs. So then they kind of started forming lines. And then there apparently, the 2 p.m. Sourcebooks ARC drop was so bad. What did the one video you watched say?
It said that everybody got, like, stampeded. And somebody got injured. That's all I saw.
So, yeah, apparently that's real bad. HarperCollins said they're going to start doing tickets. Simon & Schuster announced they're going to start doing tickets. I haven't heard anything from Sourcebooks or Penguin or Hatchet or Macmillan yet. But that's how it should be. From old BookCon videos, that's how it kind of was you would go and try to get tickets for your ARC drops, and then you'd come back later in the day. So I'm surprised they didn't do it this time. One of the weirder parts of the day was we saw a bunch of shirtless guys in biker helmets, and, like, they had, like, cards and stuff in their underwear and pants, and it was just weird. We only saw them for maybe an hour or two, and then we didn't see them again.
They disappeared.
Yeah, I think they were told to put a shirt on and leave. What else do we have to know? I feel bad for anyone who has ADA issues or anything like that, because I don't think this is a good event for you. Specifically, if you want to go see, like, the indie alley stuff, that's in I call it the basement. It's level 1. The up escalator for it hasn't worked all day. And the elevator, at least the one elevator we could see, didn't go down to that level. There had to be another elevator somewhere that they could then use. Amber saw other escalators not working. Mm-hmm. So that's also an issue. Granted, it's a big convention center, so maybe they're having issues. They ran out of food at one point. Apparently, we did not eat at the convention center, not for lack of trying, but the lines were crazy. So definitely, if you're going for author signings, and I'll speak on the author signings since you were not there. It was organized, but also unorganized. I think they needed more signs saying, this is this person's line, this is that person's line. I think they probably should have capped the lines quicker for certain authors, because certain authors were taking longer than others talking to their fans, which, I mean, is nice. You know, you want to have a conversation with your favorite author, but if you know there's 8 million people in line. Amber, you said, do you know what publisher only had 82 ARCs? Do you remember?
No. I don't remember which one it was.
Well, supposedly Amber heard that one of the publishers only brought 82 ARCs for one of their books. For one of
the drops. Yeah, I don't know if it was all of them. Just one.
For one of their drops. For a convention that was going to have 20,000 people. So, I'm trying to think of what else. I was like, what are you talking about? I have a personal beef with people with book crates. Okay? Because you're not supposed to have those. I'm wrong. If you have an ADA accommodation, you are allowed to have the book crates. On the show floor, you can bring them in and you can check them at coat check. Now, granted, if you want to go put stuff in your book crate, it's going to cost you $3 every single time you do it. So you gotta make sure you time those out. But like, there were so many people on the floor with them. And again, it was so crowded and it just added to the crowds. Also, another small critique, why were there so many little kids there? They can't read.
Babies.
Yeah, like babies there. And like, these were not cheap tickets. And it's not like kid tickets. I don't think kid tickets, they're right.
I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, so like that's, I don't know. I think that's kind of crazy.
I get it if you can't get a babysitter and stuff and you still want to enjoy it, but
yeah,
that's gotta be exhausting.
Yeah. But some of the highlights, we saw R.F. Kuang today, and she inspired a certain someone to start writing again. So that's fun. I was very, very lucky to get in the standby line to get my copy of Babel signed. I will show you right here. Hold on. Let me figure it out. Ta-da! She didn't necessarily announce another book, but she did say the next book that she's working on. Taipei is the new book that's coming out in September, which is a lot about grief and that kind of stuff. And then her next book's going to be like a 5-generational historical thing that's focusing on fascism. So that's going to be fun. Fascism in art.
It sounds good.
It sounds good. It sounds very interesting. R.F. Kuang is so intelligent. I love reading her books. That was a highlight. Did we sit in any, what panels? We kind of sat in for the Masquerade one, which talked about Phantom of the Opera. There's a new Phantom of the Opera book kind of coming out. It's called Our Strange Duet, and it's by Erin A. Craig. She's one of my favorite authors. I tried to get the ARC, but they ran out real quick. And it's from Christine's point of view. So that's really interesting. Didn't we sit in on another panel?
I did. I don't...
You sat in. Do you want to talk about the panel you went to?
Yeah, I sat in on... What was it called? It was like a readers versus writers spaces, and like the authors were talking about how they were all like social media people, like readers reviewing books and stuff before they became authors. And so it was very much a discussion of should authors be in readers spaces on Book Talk and Bookstagram, and like how the dynamic changes when you go from a reader to an author. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. I mean, it was a pretty small panel, but they were cool. I haven't read any of them, but I definitely was interested in a few of them.
And I think that's also part of our issue is there's a lot of authors here, and I would love to hopefully meet more, but I unfortunately haven't read any of their books, even though I know a lot of like the covers and the titles and stuff. So we're gonna plan out more.
And there's just not enough time.
And there's just not enough time for like all the stuff you want to do. They have announced the 2027 dates. It's going to be April 10th to the 11th. Again, another 2-day weekend, which we personally think is not long enough. We think it should be a 3-day weekend, but whatever. So we had our whole day there. We were fine. We came back, we got dinner, and we're like, okay, what after dark stuff do we want to do? We knew we didn't want to do the fantasy ball because we didn't think we were going to get in. I haven't heard anything bad about the fantasy ball. From the videos and pictures we've seen, it looks like it was pretty decent. It was pretty good. A lot of people were leaving early, but I think a lot of people were just tired. So I don't think necessarily they were leaving early because it was bad.
We do think the fantasy ball next year should be on Friday, the night before. Yes. So that everybody actually stays and everybody's not exhausted.
Yes, I think that would
be great.
A good like pre-event
opening event to BookCon.
Opening event thing. Yeah, I think that could be fun. There was the pajama party, which I thought was going to be a fun party, but they were just watching The Princess Diaries. That was weird.
Which is a great movie.
It's a great movie, but like a weird thing to do. Yeah. There was a Bedazzled and Booze Book, bedazzle, and booze, where you bedazzled a book.
That was cute.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't want to go to that though. I didn't have a book.
There was book karaoke, which I heard no one went to. And we decided to go to Bookish Bingo. Because we were under the impression that we were going to get these cool prizes. And it was going to be so fun.
And it was supposed to last an hour.
Also, if you reread the thing, it said come early to get your bingo card. And get a seat.
They changed.
Yeah, they for sure changed it. So we go there. And we're there by at least like 9:10. It's supposed to start at 9:30. Huge crowd. Nowhere to sit. We're on the floor.
They had like 3 tables.
Yeah.
Long tables.
We've been on the floor a lot.
There were a lot of people on the floor.
Yeah, which is fine. And then they don't announce until like 5 minutes before bingo's gonna start. Scan this QR code so that you can get into the bingo thing. I couldn't scan that shit. It was so tiny. They need to make it bigger. Amber was able to get it, so I ran back to her. It, again, promoted as Bookish Bingo. It was music bingo. So if you heard the song, you would check it off on your bingo card and go from there.
Okay, whatever. It was fine. The music was entertaining.
Yeah, it was a lot of... I keep saying oldies. Nothing in the past...
10 years?
5? Havana wasn't... Havana's been in the past 5 years, right? What?
That was like we were in school. Girl.
Oh my god, you're right. That was 20. Oh my god, it was 10 years then. Oh my god. Anyway. Yeah, so that was it. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe the prizes will be decent.
I think so.
Amber, would you like to give a relay of what the prizes were?
The freaking prizes for bingo. From BookCon, a pack of stickers. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just don't want the neighbors to get
a pack of stickers, a keychain, and a discount code for, I don't know, books or merch or something.
And there were supposed to be 5 rounds. 5 prizes. Fun facts, babes. 4 prizes. 4 stickers. 4 keychains.
By 10 o'clock, we were out of prizes.
And it was supposed to go to 10:30. They were still bedazzling. Also, the bedazzling and the bingo in the same room.
So not enough seating for
which is
even
why
half of the people in there.
We were on the floor. So yeah, we kept saying, like, out of all the people there, no one could sponsor, or BookCon themselves couldn't just be like, here's a tote bag. Here's a nice thing. Like, here's a shirt. Like, nothing.
Anything.
No one could, like, step up and do that. That's just greedy. I don't know. It's very greedy to me. It was very disappointing. That was the most disappointing thing
that was
of the entire day.
The worst thing.
Yeah. So, some feedback for BookCon that we discussed over dinner. If you're going to do ARC drops, we think that either they're ticketed or they should be in their own separate room.
Or both.
Or both. And you just drop them there, you know? Because it was even like, I made the comment earlier that I wonder how much theft there was at I hope no thefts happened at the indie booths. Not that I hope any happened at like anywhere, but especially the indie booths. But like, it wasn't monitored so much that like, I really feel like we could have just taken a book and walked away. You know?
It was too chaotic. There was too many people.
Yeah. So that's one of our critiques. You need to use the whole center. And again, we were wondering did the Javits Center not give them the whole thing because they didn't know if that many people would come, but then they only gave them a small space, but then they oversold on tickets. Who knows? Did
they not have enough money for the whole place?
Or did they not have enough money for the whole place? Again, that's another thing. So I think next year we need more room, for sure. If the ARCs are still going to be with the publishers, which they're probably going to still be because that's how they have been before, we need lines, baby. We need those little rope thingies. We need lines, and we need to cut the lines. Like, it's just a safety hazard because you're covering aisles and stuff. That was our other critique. I personally think there should be more panels throughout the day, mostly because I don't know how I want to say this. It's like there were so many interesting panels that we wanted to go to, but either you had to make a reservation, or they were during like other important times, or they filled up so quickly, you know? So I just kind of wish there was more stuff to do throughout the day, you know? So I think more panels would do, and like a panel could be book trivia with your favorite authors, or like it's something fun and like not super serious, you know? You can have the serious panels. I think the serious panels are fun, but that's just me. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts to wrap up the day?
Nope. We'll see what happens day 2.
I'm very interested to see how Sunday goes, especially with ARC drops. Like I said, we're not very like, if we don't get an ARC, we did get 2. Do you still have them next to you? I'll show them off. We somehow snagged these from the Scholastic booth. This one is called Golden Born. It is African folklore culture in modern America, or is this like a...
It's like supernatural.
I'll read one of the blurbs. It's uncover the magic of Golden Born. A daring teen must brave a hidden realm of Ghanaian gods and unravel supernatural crimes in San Francisco's African town to save her father and discover the extraordinary power within. So that's one of them.
Sounds really good.
It's a very pretty cover. And then the other one we got was The Gravewood. And this blurb is from the New York Times bestselling author Kelly Andrew comes the first in a darkly romantic duology that explores disability, obsession, and the twisted limits of loyalty. This one also has vampires, so that's fun. So, if anything, we got those. I know part of our plan tomorrow is we want to do more of the indie alley. Even if we don't buy anything in the indie alley, I think I would like to at least get more business cards from people so that I can go back later and like look at their stores and stuff and buy stuff. So, cause I don't want to carry a lot of heavy stuff around. But that was today. We're interested to see how tomorrow goes. Apparently, a lot of people are backing out and not going, so maybe the crowds won't be as bad. But
we have the day passes, so there's still going to be whoever just got a Sunday pass.
Yeah. So. All right, we'll see ya. Final thoughts on Saturday from the bed. I do just want to say, as much as it's been like crazy and chaotic and stuff, and that's, you know, the general with conventions, but also like it's also been crazy. I genuinely, me and Amber at least have not had any really bad experiences with people. Most people we've like commemorated. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Commiserate? That's not the right. We've become friendly with the people around us. Nice. Everyone's been very nice. You know, we've complained together. We've talked together. We've given the secret bathroom that we like to use. Which, by the way, if you're going anywhere in the Javits Center and you need to use a bathroom, 5th floor. 5th floor, baby. Best place to go. All right, that's about it. Good morning, everybody. It is currently BookCon day 2. We are getting ready. We will be leaving whenever. And then, luckily, I've been seeing they're lining people inside because of the rain. So, I'm not too worried. I think we're going to be fine. We'll get in when we get in. And today is Lee Bardugo Day. So, there we go. Oh, I also wanted to say this in our video last night. When we went to bingo, there was a little table that was called trinket trading. So we were like, oh, cool, like there's like little things here and there, you know, whatever. And we had saw it earlier in the day, and there were like little pins and stuff. But by the end of the day, it was all business cards. Like, how are business cards trinkets? That's not how that works. Give us credit that it's 10 o'clock and we're in. So, day 2. It's currently 11 in the morning. We're already overstimulated and are hiding in our little alcove. Although we were successful this morning. Bought some stuff. We got some free stuff. Tried to do a riddle. It didn't end well. I don't blame the author for that. It was just a little too complicated. many hours later. We kind of crashed when BookCon ended. Day 2 arguably was better than day 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we set our expectations a little bit differently. Not that we had super high expectations. I think we knew it was going to be crazy, but not as crazy as it got. Anyway, we started off the day. We went right to Indie Alley. We looked at all the indie author stuff. Also, shout out to all like the self-published indie authors and stuff. A lot of them apparently sold out of their items and books, and I think that's really great. And I think that says a lot about the community. So that's amazing. That's really cool. Me and Amber did stop by a couple of their booths. One of them had an interesting puzzle riddle thing, but we got confused and left. It's not, I would say it's not the author's fault, but it was a little too complicated, I think, for what the booth setup that he had. And then we went to the Lee Bardugo spotlight, which was so fun. Lee Bardugo is so funny in person, guys. I was laughing so much while watching it. She also hates AI and TikTok, which is fun. Did we learn anything? I'm so tired. I'm literally filming this with my eyes closed. Did we learn anything fun at the Lee Bardugo? Amber's over there.
She said she has an idea for a Six of Crows, but that it would be a long time before she would ever touch it again.
Yeah, she didn't go into too much detail, but I guess working with the adaptation with Netflix, which she said she was extremely grateful for. She loves the team, the cast, and everything, but it made her see the Grishaverse and all of that and have a relationship with it differently. So if she was to continue that series with like a Six of Crows and then another book or whatever, which technically another book is coming out, it's a short story. She very much emphasized it's a short story. It would be years from now before she could and she even said it herself, she'd rather be in the right state of mind and really connected with that universe than putting another book out, which I think everyone in the audience agreed with is what we would rather have. Mm-hmm. She really convinced us to read the Alex Stern trilogy, which is the Ninth House and all of that. So that was fun. I also want to read her picture book that's out. She really didn't talk about that much. I'm interested to see.
She said that when she's done with her current tour, she's taking a break for a while and will focus only on big conventions.
Yes. She also said that her current touring schedule is going to be, oh, Amber, look, there's a crack in our ceiling. Sorry, I got distracted. Is going to be basically the last time she's going to do any kind of tours and stuff because of just the physical toll it takes on her body. She's still going to do festivals and conventions when she can. But she also mentioned how this is going to be a very busy year for her. So once all the touring and stuff is done, she will then focus on her next couple big projects, which they have a couple things in the works. Nothing is out yet. My arm's getting tired. I'm going to move into a different position. So yes, that was the Lee Bardugo on the spot. We tried to see if we could go to the signing, but they weren't doing any standby signing, which is totally fair. It's going to be a long day. We then ventured to level 3, which if you know anything about BookCon 2026, level 3 is where all the big publishers were, and it was where the most crowded things are happening. It was still fairly crowded when we went up there. I will say not as bad as it was on Saturday. It looks like they were better at more forming lines and all of that. They ran out of ARCs and everything and tickets pretty much right away. Although, if you look on Threads and other social media, people were saying there was still, which I think is crazy, there was still a lot of shoving and stuff for ARCs. And then Amber saw a post that apparently someone at one of the publishing booths said they saw a lot of the same people coming for ARCs, and now ARCs are for sale on different...
Taipei City is $850.
Taipei City, is it Taipei City or Taipei Story?
Taipei City, I think.
I think it's Story.
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever the new RF Kwon book that's coming out in September. She saw it on a listing website for, you said $850? Mm-hmm. $850 for an ARC, y'all. For a free book. Which I made a post on Threads being technically it's illegal to sell books, and I used the wrong language. It's not illegal. Technically on the books it says not for sale, and technically it's breaching your contract with the publisher. yeah, the terms and conditions. So it's like against the rules and it's frowned upon. But so many people were getting on my ass about using the word illegal that I had to delete it because I was like, I don't want to see it. God forbid. But yeah, so we tried level 3. We very quickly got overwhelmed and went upstairs to just kind of chill. We sat in
the young adult and new adult fantasy.
We sat in for the young adult and new adult or like retrospect fantasy thing. Which was mostly a diverse I almost said podcast. It was a diverse panel. Not a lot of talk about new adult, which I thought was like whatever. A lot of talk just about, I think the authors just kind of basically talked about their books, their journeys, and all of that. So I do wish they had focused a bit more on, like, what is it like to write a young adult versus a new adult? They kind of got to that near the end. But I do wish the conversation focused a little bit more on that. But I'm terrible at author names. I'll put the author names down here of who was there. But it was the author of Lore of the Wild trilogy. Huh? You just started it? Oh, look at you just starting. Look at Amber. She found a new author. It was the Raybringer author and then the Legendborn series author, and then what was her first name? Clara Ortega. Amelia Wang Zhen, is that how you pronounce her last name? Wang Zhang?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it was Zhan.
Probably.
Yeah. She unfortunately couldn't make it. She was supposed to be a part of that panel. I think she was supposed to be the original moderator.
Oh.
I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong. I'll double check later. She couldn't make it, unfortunately. But that was fun. Again, it's just, I always find panels in like the spotlight. I'm looking at Amber over here in case you can't see. I always find it interesting not talking, but listening to authors talk about the craft and talk about why they make certain decisions with certain things. Like the author of the Legendborn, am I correct on that? Yes, Legendborn. Tracy Dion. I really liked what she had to say at one point where she was talking about her first draft of Legendborn, a copy editor or an early reader of the book before, no, I'm sorry, it was an early reader before it went to copy edits, was like, you need to change this specific thing because I think it would work better. And then she was like, that would literally change the entire aspect of the story. And then she was talking about how when it comes to race coming into it, because these are all Black authors, how she was bringing power. She was focusing more on like getting the power back and all that kind of stuff. I totally butchered what she said. But then the author of Raybringer, she even mentioned like, you know, a lot of white women will identify with the girls who are like, I'm not like other girls. I wear my hair in a braid and I have a sword and, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's how we identify getting out of our ivory tower. Whereas people who may be Black or POC or anything like that, their version of like that kind of resistance or rebellion is being the girl in the ivory tower, being the girl who was so precious and like all that. So I thought that was really interesting. We did that, and then I think...
Then we went to page to screen.
Yes, then we went to page to screen, which was it was a panel that had authors who had books that were adapted into TV shows and movies. So Andy Weir was there, Emma St. Clair was there, I think, whoever wrote Station 11.
The author of The Hunting Wives.
The author of The Hunting Wives, and the author of The Idea of You was there. All different adaptations and all that kind of stuff. So we thought it would be interesting. Andy Weir kind of took over the conversation a lot of the time. And Amber also made the point that a lot of them had already worked in the film industry in some kind of aspect. So a lot of them were like, yeah, when they came to us for changes, we were kind of okay with it. Granted, the woman who wrote Station 11 was like, yeah, they changed every single aspect of it. So, but I thought that was interesting because I think a lot of the time you see authors be like, I can't believe they changed XYZ. I think you have to have a good middle. Yes, certain things do need to be changed, but I do like what they said, like the essence of the story that you're trying to tell needs to be there. We bounced out of there early. We were just tired. I couldn't sit still because my back was hurting. I think Amber also couldn't sit still because she was aching. And then a few of the booths were having discounts, so we thought we would kind of go around, but everything was picked clean basically by that point. So then we just kind of bounced and have been resting.
Free stuff.
We did get some free. We got a hat
I got like Blackwood Academy a map.
She got a map of Blackwood Academy, which is a Dark Academia series that we have to figure out later. I think we got bookmarks.
Oh, we
got a free audiobook of something.
Yeah.
You could tell the publisher, like, get rid of all this stuff. Get them out of here. But yeah, that's a wrap up of day 2. I'm going to later tomorrow probably sit down and just kind of talk about everything and what I think should change for next year. But fun.
Like they call Bermudas, the long shorts that come down your knee.
Yeah. All right, everyone. It's Monday night. I'm officially home. Let's go over everything that happened at BookCon. First, I want to shout out Twisted Moons. You can't really see it in this lighting, but this is a Twilight Forks, Washington shirt that they were selling. It was very cute. I liked it. This is one of the only things I bought when I was at BookCon, not because I didn't like a lot of the stuff in Indie Alley. Shout out to Indie Alley. They had a lot of cute things. I think, full transparency, I was very overwhelmed by a lot of the things that they were selling there. I mean, there was a lot of cute stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this, maybe I'll get that, but I didn't want to overspend. So I think that's what stopped me from buying a lot of things. I did take a lot of business cards, so I am going to be looking at a lot of different shops that were featured there and such, and hopefully buy something from the future. There was this one shop that I need to look at the map because I don't think I grabbed their business card, but they had, I meant to grab it, but then I totally forgot and lost track of time. But it was a cute little clicker of like a frog with like a little top hat on it. That was really cute. I got to find that. But anyway, my overall experience, and if you've been on social media, if you've been on TikTok, Threads, whatever, Instagram, you'll see a lot of people are upset with BookCon. A lot of people saying they're not coming back next year, whatever. Full transparency, if I were to rate this out of 10, give it a 7 or 8. 7.5? Maybe? We'll go 7.5, just to be fair. I had a good time. And I think, and I feel like this has been said a lot, and the famous Gabby Hanna thing, I think you need to set realistic expectations for yourself. Now, that's not saying that the publishers, ReadPop, BookCon themselves, that they don't have something that they need to fix. They do need to fix it, because I think a lot of people, if you look at BookCons in the past, even the 2019, the last one, people would come home with like big stacks of ARCs. And so people were expecting to come home with big stacks of ARCs. Now, since COVID, things have been not slowing down, but they don't print as many physical ARCs anymore because it's just very expensive in this economy. They also don't want to put that many free books, not free books, but they don't want to put that many ARCs out into the universe because they want people to buy the actual physical book. Another problem, so we'll talk about ARCs real quick. If you heard or have witnessed anything with BookCon, the ARC drops were crazy. First of all, the room that all the publishers were in, they were on level 3. It was a running joke that you would just avoid level 3 at all costs. Unless you went really early in the morning or like the last hour of the day, you kind of avoided level 3 because of the crowds. Now, for conventions, I was expecting crowds. I was expecting bottlenecking, all this kind of stuff. But I think the problem that we faced here is that people lingered around the publishing houses, and at least on Saturday, there was no way to kind of form lines or anything like that. Now, supposedly, some people who were working at the publishing booths kind of were answering some people's questions. They were told, the publishers, by the Javits Center, that they can't form lines, to just kind of put the books out and let them, need be. Granted, that this is a rumor that I heard on social media. I don't know if this is true or not, but that was what was said, and I wouldn't be surprised, because this isn't like this is the only convention that these publishers do. They do library conventions, they go to Comic Cons, like, they know the drill when it comes to these things. So I was surprised that there was no, like, ticket. Well, I guess HarperCollins had ticket drops. I don't know if I think Penguin Random House did. Sourcebooks was the worst. So much clarity right now. Sourcebooks was the worst when it came to lines, was the worst when it came to stampedes of people trying to get these ARCs. And even on Saturday when we went, that booth was always the one that was the most crowded, that I just had the most people, and it really wasn't safe or ADA compliant, if I'm going to be honest, because you're like filling up these aisles. And I guess that's why the center was like, hey, we can't form lines. But then if you're not forming lines, people are just going to swarm. And that's what happened. I did feel bad for the people who had the ADA accommodation. Obviously, like they need it for whatever reason, and you don't need to disclose why you need it. But a lot of people reported that publishers would or people running panels or people for signings would say that there is no ADA line, that it didn't exist. And it's like, no, it has to exist legally. Like, you have to help these people. Now, I personally didn't have any bad experiences with any other attendees. I Everything was kind of fine on my end. That's not to say that other people didn't have bad experiences, because they did. And if you go on social media, you'll see them. But that's just a people thing. I think people don't know how to act anymore in certain places, especially in the book space, unfortunately. And a lot of these people who had the ADA accommodation, unfortunately, kind of hit the brunt of that with these people shoving them, being out of the way. Apparently, some people were making fun of them for having their ADA accommodation, and that's really shitty behavior. But I also saw really good things. I saw people be like, "Oh, you didn't get an ARC ticket. You know what? Here, take mine." Like that was really shitty that they didn't do that for you. Or people like who were told they were going to get their signings because of ADA, but then didn't, like, because you could bring up to 3 books to get signed. Other people will be like, hey, give me your book. I'll get it personalized for you, that kind of stuff. So I do think while there were bad experiences, there were also really good experiences like that. So you kind of have to find the balance in all of that. So that's ARC drops. I do think for next year, I think I stated previously in this video, my dream would be ARCs would just have their own separate room that you get a ticket, you go and grab and go. However, that's not how it's done anywhere other conventions. I don't think that's how they're going to do it ever in the future, because they want you to come to the booth to then buy other things. It's also hard because you really shouldn't have an ARC drop and an author signing at the same time or around the same time, because it's just so much chaos for these small booths that they had in the small space that they had. So I think next year with the bigger space is going to be interesting to see how things are going to go. I do think every single publisher out there for ARC drops next year. My parents are currently fighting, so I have to wait for this to end. This is what it's like to live at home when you're almost 30. I do think next year, all the big publishers, it just needs to be ticket drops, I think, at this point. Um, and again, I think you're going to have the problem with swarming and all of that, but I think that's just an inevitable thing. Um, I'm real tempted to make a whole video just talking about ARCs and ARC etiquette and everything, because, fun fact, a lot of these ARCs that people got and then got signed are being sold for, like, I think Taipei story, if I'm going to get my friend to give me that screenshot over here. Um, Someone is selling that for like $850 for an ARC, guys, an unfinished proof that you can't, well, not that you can't sell, but because it's not technically illegal, but you really shouldn't. Hold on, let me get an ARC that I have. Do I have an ARC around here? I do. This is an older ARC from Holiday House. And as you can see here, advanced reader copy, not for sale. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, I know when we get these at my library, we can't sell them because we don't want to get in trouble for it. Technically don't think it's illegal to do it. I don't know what the repercussions are if you are found selling ARCs. I'm trying to see in the cover of this thing. If anything, I know if they find out it's you, you can get blacklisted from getting ARCs and stuff. So that was one of the big things. Another thing I already talked about was space. It was way too small for the amount of people. A few people went to the staff Q&A and kind of made their complaints known, and the staff is fully aware of everything that's going on and happening, and they are going to work on it for next year. I do think it needs to be a collaboration with the publishers and with the center itself to make sure we're kind of fixing everything. Also, one escalator to the basement where the Indie Alley and author signings was down the whole weekend. Now, I don't necessarily blame the center for this being broken, because with anything, it could be they need one singular part and it's stuck on a ship somewhere. Like, it's not a part that they can easily get. However, it really bottlenecked a lot. It was so hard to get up and down it. And again, not ADA compliant, and it wasn't very clear where the elevator for people who were like in a wheelchair or with a cane or with anything that could access an elevator to then get up to the regular floor. Obviously, if you ask staff, staff were able to direct you to it. Also, I think now, I know I talked about in the beginning that publishers don't print as many because it's expensive and whatever, but apparently one publisher, I think it was a smaller one, only brought like 82 arcs for their one book, which I know some people will say like, oh my god, 100 arcs for a thing is a lot, which it is. And I think people need to realize there aren't that many. But I don't know. I've never been one to like go crazy over an arc drop. Because yes, I know it's like you're getting that story right away, like everything's cool and awesome. I don't know. It's just I don't know how to feel about arc drops. It's just like I would rather have the finished book. I know it's cool, especially if it's like a really popular author that you know, or if it's part of a series, because you can kind of have that history there with the arc. But I just was like not getting why we were going crazy over arc drops, everybody. Don't know. Also, I thought it was interesting that people, I mean, obviously it's a convention. The whole thing is to buy books, you know, and so a lot of people were buying books from the publishers and everything. But I I bought one book. I bought A Diary of Blood because I don't have it in my collection and I did want it. And it was just simple and easy and it was like 16 bucks, so I got it. But people were paying like 30 bucks for these books and it's like it's not any cheaper for these books. If it was a special con edition, like I really almost got For Whom the Bell Tolls, the con edition, even though I already have the sprayed edge edition and the regular one because it was so cool. I stopped myself though because I was like, you already have a sprayed edge edition. It's already really pretty. You don't need the con edition because you don't need 3 copies of the same book, you know? But like, but getting that, I can understand. But just getting like the regular copy I was like, why now again it made sense if you got an author signing and you didn't have something for them to sign, that I was totally fine with. But like again, just like these weird regular books, I don't know, it was kind of weird. No, I shouldn't say weird because people can do what they want with their money. It's just not something I wanted to do with my money. They need to fix the after dark owl stuff, guys, if they're going to do after dark stuff again next year. They gotta fix it, y'all. Bookish bingo was not bookish. It was bingo. It was music bingo that did not work for a lot of the people. I think because it was 400 plus people were in like the queue to do music bingo. That's why it didn't work for some of them because like just having that many people in the app at once was malfunctioning. But then the prizes were stickers and a cheap keychain. That was it. Now, other people are saying they promoted they were giving out arcs for this. I didn't see that anywhere, and I don't see it on the app anywhere that this was a thing. But you would assume with Bookish Bingo they would be giving out bookish things. Granted, they were bookish stickers and keychains, but like a nice tote bag, a small bottle of water, you know, like a little trinket, something. Yes, and then I didn't go to the Books Bedazzled and Booze, but other people did, and they said that even that was a little like I don't know, a lot of stuff just capped in lines. And like again, I know that this is a thing at other conventions that things fill up and everything, but I don't know. I just feel like lines were super crazy, things capped super crazy. I just feel like I'm complaining, and other people are gonna be like, why are you complaining so much about this when you had a good time? Because I did have a good time, because I didn't have high expectations for a lot of things. I was very surprised that I got an RF Kwong signing. I was extremely lucky to get that. I am so thankful that I was even able to get that for the 10 seconds I was able to talk to her. Um, I even tried looking at some of the smaller authors to see that I knew of that maybe I would hop in their lines, but even their lines were super long and super like crazy. The line formation for autographs I do think needs to get worked on. Signage was not clear about where's what line is filled. Their end of the line signs were just like lined paper that they wrote end of the line. Like we can at least we're book people. Get it laminated. It's not that hard. So I do think for autographs, that needs to get fixed. I wonder if they move Indie Alley somewhere else, if they'll expand the autographing thing to at least give it more room. Because again, it was so crowded there. I think, again, we just need to fix the lines. There needs to be more organization in certain things. I didn't see a lot of I don't know if it was employees. It said staff on the back of their shirts. They could have been volunteers. They could have been paid. I'm not entirely sure. But the majority of them that I saw were at the autograph signings. There was always a handful, like, there was always like 3 at panels. I don't remember seeing any on the exhibitor floor. Amber said she saw at least one when we were on level 3 one time, but maybe more staffing just to kind of like be around and help direct people. Those are my thoughts. I might add more things later. I don't know. But I had fun, guys. I was able, and again, we were very lucky that we were able to get in for the RF Kwong and the Oh, this is another thing I want to talk about on the main stage. Did anyone who went to a main stage event, was that room ever full to capacity? Especially both times we went for RF Kwong and Lee Bardugo, we were able to move up to the VIP seats because they were empty. And I mean empty. Like, where are all these VIP people that supposedly were supposed to fill these seats? And then, like, I would kind of peek and, like, the room would be full. It wouldn't be, like, full, though. Like, I feel like there was still a good chunk for people to go to. I thought that was interesting that even like the main stage wasn't filling up, but there was all these people. Maybe like they just undersold the amount just to be safe, which I guess makes sense because you don't want to oversell and then you're kind of screwed at that point. But I had fun. I thought the couple panels I went to were interesting. I always like sitting in panels to listen to authors talk about the craft and the different ways that they write and the different decisions that they make for these kind of things. So I really enjoy that. I think even if we hadn't been able to get to the main stage stuff with RF Kwong and Lee Bardugo, I think we would have found a different panel to kind of sit in on and just like kind of be there with the community, you know? So those are my final thoughts on BookCon. I'm interested to see how long this video is going to be, how much I'm going to have to cut and whatever. But those are just my thoughts and opinions. Again, I had fun. I'm hoping to go next year. We will see if I'm able to get tickets for that. And yeah, I would like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Let me know in the comments down below.